Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends and family, loved ones. This is your friend Kelly Mail Call, and we ordered something for Brian. I had enough points to get a $50 gift card off of it, and with the sale that was on Spyderco's, it made this more palatable to buy. And we do have a few Spyderco's. Now these are just a few that I have handy. Let's see here. Pretty sure that's a pair of 3 and S45VN that we've got Flytanium Lotus scales, I think is what they call those on. And here's, oops, that's me. Fibonacci scales from, gosh, who was it that made these? But, pair of 3. My Shaman, that, yeah, in S30V, which is pretty standard on Shamans. They do have special ones. Let's see here. Is this my Bodacious? Nope, this is my Mannix 2 in 15V that I did put, I think I did, different ball cage from Flytanium in there along with the ceramic ball. And let's see here. What else have we got? The Canis that I got in trade that is actually a very awesome knife. I wasn't sure I was going to like that blade shape, but I really did like that. That's done well. I'm just doing the one stack here. There is more. And this, like I said, sometimes people count it, sometimes they don't. The Benchmade Griptilian with the Spidey hole. I do consider it a semi-Spyderco just because of the Spidey hole. You may not. But of course, I got the Flytanium, I think they call these the loop scales. And you know who you are that got us started on those loop scales with sending us a set of blue ones for the pair of 3. You know who you are. You usually check my videos so you can take credit for getting us hooked on those. And Brian's ordered another pair of blue ones that I put on another knife for him. And of course I ended up having to get the purple ones for that one. So take that for what it's worth. But that was, like I said, those were handy right there. Anyway, we do like Spyderco's. And awesome. So we got that. But they also, with the Spyderco or any, I think at the time, I don't know if it was a Father's Day deal that they were doing. You also got a Civivi free if you spent over $150, I think. Whatever the amount was. And it's the Civivi Cetos, C-E-T-O-S. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. And you didn't get a choice as to which one you got. It looks like I got the green micarta one. And let's make sure both sides are, yeah, both sides are sealed. And since they usually give me issues anyway, we'll check out the freebie first. This seems kind of hefty. Oh, green micarta. I was assuming it was going to probably be, I know somebody that will like that. If you actually look at my, watch the video, you know who you are that likes the burlap micarta. And it's a bigger knife. And it's black. But it's not a huge knife, so your Gorilla Mitts, but you should be able to get them on there decently. Let me know. Good jimping, black wash blade. I actually kind of like that. Too bad I'm not into the green and burlap micarta on top of that for the most part. But that's an awesome little knife. If they still have that sale going on, you may want to check into it. And this is at Knife Center. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I think I did at the very beginning, but just for you to be aware. But for what we actually purchased is a Spyderco. And I don't know, you probably can't see that, no. YoJimbo 2 black. And it's the Jimbo, not the Jumbo. Because Brian figured this would be a... Oh, hello, tight. That's going to need some working in, I think, on that. But there we go. That is actually, that's a good size. See, I always wonder when they do the little angles for your fingers, depending on how your hand hits those can be really hit or miss on your fingers. And right here, I'm hitting, with my pinky, I'm hitting this when I'm kind of squishing together. But you figure those two, that, and then that one will work. But doing, yeah, that don't feel right. But the two fingers on the top and then that and that, for me, that's to grip it. But honestly, since there's no, the liners, I think it's a little bit down. You could knock these down if you really wanted to. Take a little Dremel and go whoop, whoop, whoop. It probably wouldn't take much to do that if the pointiness is irritating. I would say that would be a plus. We'll probably, if we don't have a clip for this, we'll also swap out the clips. But this is the G10 and it's a CPM S30V. It's pretty much a basic standard knife, but like I said, they had that Spyderco sale going on, and the blade shape has grown on us. It wasn't a blade shape at first that we were a big fan of, but it's grown on us. It's kind of like my Canis. That was one that grew on me also. But centering's good. The G10 feels good, even though the flat doesn't do a lot for me. I do prefer a rounded handle material that fits in the hand better instead of being quite so flat. Not saying that I don't have knives with that type of scales on it, but I think Brian's going to be happy with this. We'll see how it fits his hand and whether or not, number one, if he wants to look at different scales that may be available for it, or if he wants to knock these down. Because I'm sure there's people in the community that have swapped out the scales and put different ones on them. If we wanted to sell this, I usually like to leave things stock, and if I switch it, it's more switching out to a different scales and putting the scales that came with it and the clip that came with it back in the box. That way, if we do sell it or trade it away, it has all the original stuff with it. The one thing I do, now this wasn't one I did, but I have done, is colored scales and stuff like that. To me, doing the color of the scales is not that big of a deal. I'm not actually modifying it when I'm just doing the coloring. But it's one of those things. I have done that on multiple knives. Like I said, I didn't do that one. My big brother Jimmy did that one. But when knocking something down, unless there's an actual burr on something, because we have gotten knives before that have with the frame lock where the edge has like a little sharp spot. I will take and we will file that down to get rid of that sharp area. And usually what it is, it's a burr, and just a swipe or two of something will take care of it. It's not anything major, and it just keeps you from catching on it. I'm trying to think of what knife was that we did that to, but yeah, if you do enough knives, you know what I'm talking about. Occasionally where it's separate, where the frame lock portion is apart, and sometimes with the metal, they just didn't finish it properly, is all it is. It just needs a little bit of love, and it takes care of it. But this was for Brian. I think he'll be extremely happy with that. And I guess that's it for the day. That and that Civivi I've got floating there, if Brian doesn't decide he likes it. But you guys have a wonderful day. Many hugs, many kisses, much love. Your friend Kelly. Bye-bye.